Here is the story that nobody saw coming just 6 months ago. Washington was bracing for a major clash with New Delhi. The air was thick with tension. Trade wars were in the making. Sanctions were on the table. Trump's team was speaking with force. With the message clear, choose America's side or get left behind. It seemed like a showdown was inevitable. But look at what's happening now. The same people who were ready to punish India are now discussing big business deals after months without a top diplomat in India. Washington suddenly sends a key figure to New Delhi. This isn't just a change. It's a complete flip in strategy. So, what happened? What made America do a 180? Why did Washington go from threats to talks? The truth is, India didn't change a thing. They're still buying cheap energy from Russia, still blocking American goods with high taxes, still sitting on the fence while the world picks sides. India's game plan stayed the same. As shift, it came from Washington. When the world's most powerful country changes course this dramatically, it's not out of the kindness of their hearts. It's because their first approach wasn't working, and the consequences of that failure were far bigger than they anticipated. As the twist, it wasn't India that caved. It was America that realized it couldn't fight this battle alone. Trump's team had one clear thought: stop trying to force India to pick sides. The truth was staring them in the face. They needed India. Let's rewind a bit. When Trump returned to power, it was clear America first was back. And for countries like India, it meant one thing: do what we say or pay the price. And the price started coming quickly. New taxes on Indian goods were the first blow. 25% extra on steel, clothes, and chemicals for Indian companies. Profits vanished overnight. Workers lost jobs. Entire industries found themselves uncompetitive in the American market. But that wasn't the worst. Real attack came for India's oil deals. A 25% tax on Russian oil that India had been buying. This wasn't just about money. It was about survival. India's people rely on affordable energy to fuel their lives. Cut that supply, and gas prices skyrocket, pushing millions into hardship. America's demand was simple: stop buying Russian oil. Join us in this fight. But India wasn't about to sacrifice its own people for someone else's war. And while Washington was ramping up the pressure, they didn't even have anyone important in India to explain themselves. No ambassador, no senior diplomat, no effort to even talk things through. Meanwhile, China and Russia jumped in. Their top officials were meeting with India. Russia was securing energy deals. China was strengthening its presence while Washington stayed silent. Everyone else moved fast. Big mistake, thinking that economic pressure would break India, that the taxes and threats would force India to bend. But that was a miscalculation. India didn't fold. Instead, they stood talent. Then something remarkable happened almost overnight. The tone from Washington shifted. The angry rhetoric turned into offers to negotiate. The demands morphed into requests for cooperation. Because Washington knew they were losing ground. They weren't just fighting India. They were losing China and Russia, and India wasn't backing down. Here's the turning point. Trump met Putin in Alaska, a meeting that stunned America's allies and sent ripples through Washington's foreign policy establishment. After that, something shifted. America started softening their stance on India. India didn't break. They stood strong, still buying Russian oil, still protecting their own interests, still refusing to choose sides. And they weren't quiet about it. India sent a clear message: we will not be bullied. At the same time, the world took notice. Russia and China were engaging with India more than ever. Every day America stayed absent. China and Russia gained ground. Washington realized something they had missed for too long: you can't win the battle for Asia without India on your side. Look at the map. India holds the center of the Indian Ocean, controlling sea routes that carry half the world's trade. Without India, America's entire strategy to balance China falls apart. That's why Washington shifted. They recognized the importance of India. So, what does this mean for India? India is in an incredibly powerful position right now. Its growth, its strategic location, its global influence, they all come together at a perfect moment. India holds the cards. Washington knows it. China knows it. Russia knows it. The world is watching as India steps into the spotlight. India is a bridge between worlds. Let's break this down further. Geography. India sits at the crossroads of critical trade routes. The Indian Ocean is the lifeblood of global commerce, and India controls its markets. The growing middle class in India, set to hit 500 million, is a dream for American companies. Apple, Amazon, Walmart, all scrambling to secure a foothold. India is a huge energy buyer. While they're getting cheap Russian oil, they could just as easily buy American oil and gas. That's leverage worth billions. Military position. America's strategy to contain China relies heavily on India. Without India, The entire balance of power shifts. India's navy controls crucial waters' diplomatic reach. India is the only country that can engage with both the West and the East America, Japan, Australia, one room China, Russia. The next India is the key to balancing it. Also, what should India do? This isn't just a moment for India to sit back. This is their time to claim their place. They should push for real benefits, better trade deals, technology sharing, greater investments. India's independence and power must be respected. But here's the twist. India is playing the game smarter than anyone expected. They're not waiting for America's offers. They're announcing major deals with other countries, diversifying their partnerships. India has options, and those options are sending a clear message to Washington. If you want our partnership, you better make it worth our while. Think about the weapons deals. For years, America tried to sell India weapons while holding back the best technology. Now India is demanding full technology transfers. That's negotiation, not submission. And it's shifting Washington's approach. Truth is, America needs India more than ever. India's economy is the 5th largest in the world, growing faster than any other. By 2027, it will likely be the 3rd largest. Economic size equals political power, and India's growth is no longer tied to America. India has built relationships with China, Europe, and the Middle East. America is just one player in a much bigger game. Here's the most important lesson. India isn't trying to replace America. They're just demanding equal treatment. In the past, America pressured China with trade wars. China absorbed the hits, diversified, and kept growing. India used that playbook. They absorbed pressure, built alternatives, and became too important to isolate. And now, America's plan to contain China depends on India. India controls critical trade routes, and their military is essential to the strategy. Without India, China gains an upper hand. Washington made a crucial mistake by focusing on trade and ignoring military reality. But when China expanded its naval presence and India strengthened its ties with Russia, the Pentagon woke up. They realized, we need India. Where does this leave us? America is finally recognizing what they should have realized long ago. India is too important to ignore. This is a new world order where India is setting the terms, and America is listening. India has achieved something incredible. They've turned pressure into power. They've resisted, diversified, and made themselves indispensable. And now, the world is watching. India is no longer asking for permission. They're leading the way. This is India's moment, and the world will never be the same.